Fan Mo is a seemingly average boy who lives in modern-day China and is still in high school. His everyday life is riddled with problems because his family is very poor, with his father working day and night as a driver just to make the ends meet, and a crippled stepsister who is unable to do anything by herself and has to be taken care of for every task. One day, he drifts off to sleep wearing an heirloom pendant, dreading the next day where he has to live his same life when he is transported into a fantastical world of magic and monsters. Despite entering a new and mystical world, his personal life is the same as it was in the old and plain world. His family is still poor, with his hardworking father struggling to pay the bills and a crippled stepsister to take care of. He sits the entrance exam for Magic Senior High School, but turns it in early because he doesn't know anything about magic. You see, he only had 3 months to study 9 years worth of material. Passing the test is required for anyone who wants to be a mage because it is the basic qualification that allows students to gain their magical talent in the Awakening event. A bunch of classmates behind him discuss what talent they want to have and start simping over a blue-haired guy named Bai Mu because he's pretty much guaranteed to become an ice talent mage like the rest of his family. Ice is one of the most powerful elements. Fan Mo walks over to his dad, who has been eagerly waiting for him outside the school. He asks him how the exam went, but Fan Mo is too ashamed to say anything. Understanding his silence, his dad tells him not to worry because he found him a well-paying job opening for a driver in a neighboring city. Not wanting to be a driver, Fan Mo begs his dad to give him another chance to become a mage that everybody respects. He refuses to stay a loser in this magical world. His dad senses his determination and tells him he will think of something if he is serious about it, and they both walk back home. The next day, he and his friend return from school together. The friend tells him Ningxu Mu had returned from the capital earlier that morning and that she looks even more beautiful than before. Fan Mo brushes it off and doesn't give any response. He notices his dad talking to a snobby-looking man named Mr. Mu, who he has been working for as a driver for years. He begs Mr. Mu to use his influence to get Fan Mo admitted to Magic Senior High as a favor. Mr. Mu scoffs at him, saying that not only did Mo Fan fail the exam, but he had also once tried to elope with his daughter, the heiress of the Mu family. His dad doesn't back down, saying that he will do anything in exchange for his son getting into the school. Mr. Mu agrees to help him if he pledges his house to him, and his dad agrees. Later that night, the dad tells Fan Mo that he got him admitted to the school by talking to one of his friends who is a director of Magic Senior High School. He also says that he will give the house up for rent because both him and his sister will be staying at the school full-time, and the dad is always out on his driving job anyway. Fan promises to be a powerful mage one day and make his family happy and wealthy. While doing his homework at night, he procrastinates just like you were while watching this video. Instead of studying hard to become a mage and help his family out, he recalls the time Ningxu Mu had requested him to take her away from her house. They had run away together but didn't get far before being caught. After that, Mr. Mu, along with his gang, broke into his house to beat up Fan Mo and his father for attempting to elope with the heiress of the powerful family. He still clearly remembers how Mr. Mu threatened to break both his legs if he ever laid eyes on his daughter again. The day of the Magic Awakening event, when all the students awaken their magical talent and begin their paths toward becoming a mage, finally arrives. Everyone receives a badge that will bear a specific symbol once their power awakens, along with 7 stars. Usually, the 7 stars are dark at the beginning, meaning the person is just a beginner. The stars start glowing one by one as the person becomes stronger. Having topped the exam, Bai Mu goes first and touches a crystal ball in front of the class to awaken his talent. As expected, he gets the ice talent like everyone in his family. Even one of his stars is glowing, showing he is already more skilled than the average beginner. Fan Mo goes last while everyone makes fun of him as he approaches the crystal ball. Nothing happens when he puts his hand over it, making everybody laugh. He tries once again with a renewed focus, and this time, a bright purple light beams out of the crystal ball. Everybody, even students from other classes, crowds around him with awe to see the purple light. Purple signifies the thunder element, the rarest and strongest element known to the world. Fan Mo enters a state of daze and remains standing with his hand on the ball for a long time. Everyone in the class has left when he regains his senses and notices that the ball has now turned glowing red. Fan Mo realizes that he has awakened not one, but 2 of the most powerful elements. But for some reason, his classmates don't remember seeing him get the thunder talent. He can't wait to prove his classmates wrong with his newfound talents. 2 months pass since the awakening, and their teacher explains how to complete the magic release. The goal is to control the 7 stars that move at will in everyone's spiritual world by focusing your mind to bring the stars into a fixed and stable orbit. Achieving this causes one to complete the magic release, granting them their magical powers. Bai Mu already has control over 5 stars, the highest in the class. Fan Mo is the furthest behind, only being able to control one of his stars for his fire talent. After school, he sulks around over his mean classmates. He is frustrated that nobody knows he can already control 6 of his stars in his thunder talent. Still, he always somehow loses at the 7th star, making him unable to unlock his thunder abilities. While walking, he runs into his younger sister Xingxia at a park. He realizes she is stuck sitting on a swing because a group of delinquents took her wheelchair away. The leader likes her, but since he lacks the raise to actually win her love, he thinks blackmailing her by taking her wheelchair until she agrees to be his girlfriend is a good idea. Infuriated, Footman confronts them to take her wheelchair back, but they put up a fight. Ready to fight for his sister's honor, he channels all of his will into aligning the stars of his thunder talent. He successfully unlocks his first thunder ability, Wrath of Thunder, and electrocutes the leader. After learning he is a mage, the others get terrified of him and run away. Once gone, he returns the wheelchair to Xingxia, and she tells him how proud she is that he can use magic. Back at home, Fanmo practices aligning his fire stars in the bath because he desperately needs to pass the final exam. His father is taking a big risk by taking the driver job in the neighboring city because the surrounding cities have regular monster attacks. His father would be defenseless in such a scenario as he is just an ordinary, non-magic person. Xingxia asks him how he learned to use Wrath of Water so quickly. She suspects he joined Black Curia, a cult that helps people master their skills quicker. He reassures her that he was only able to do it because he practiced a lot privately. Once she leaves, he realizes that he can't show his thunder power to people just yet because it would raise such suspicions. The thunder talent will be his trump card while he practices hard to master his fire talent in time for the final exam. One day, a new practical magic teacher comes into class and introduces herself. Yutang is a fire talent mage, and all the boys instantly fall for her looks and badass abilities. Fanmo also gains newfound motivation after watching her demonstrate her fire burst trick. However, while Fanmo spends all his time working hard on honing his skills and showing gradual improvement in his classes, Bai Mu and Mr. Mu scheme over ways to make him fail like cartoon villains. They're still salty over the elopement and want to ruin his life for the incident. Mr. Mu plans on sabotaging his final exam by using a dark stone. The dark stone looks like a normal black pebble, but it has the ability to absorb magical energy from anything it touches. With the help of a corrupt teacher, he plans on having the stone planted under the crystal ball during Fan's turn to absorb the light coming out of it, which would indicate a poor performance worthy of a failing grade. With just a month remaining before the exam, their teacher explains the grading process. Students must touch the crystal ball, which judges their magical ability and glows in proportion to their strength. So the stronger a person is, the brighter the ball glows. Students can be graded between D to A, with D being the failing grade. Bai Mu asks the teacher if they will have to perform a magic release, like a nerd. The teacher points out that expecting a magic release from students within a year of learning is unreasonable, and so is not mandatory. However, if a student can pull it off, they get promoted to the elite class and are given a star bracelet, which enhances their abilities like an EXP boost. On the day of the final exam, Ningshu Mu comes to oversee the students' performance. Despite being the same age as them, she's a student at the prestigious Imperial College and is an expert at using the ice element. Bai Mu is hyped to prove his worth in front of her and at the same time show how weak and incompetent Fanmo is. Ningshu demonstrates her power to the school by touching the crystal ball, causing ice to spread from the ball down the podium and all the way to the ground near the students' feet. The poor crystal ball breaks down the middle. A new ball is placed on the podium, and the students are called one by one to the stage. Fanmo's only friend, brown-haired Xiao Hao, gets an A motivated to try harder. He is the first to attempt a magic release but fails. His classmates move him off the stage, proving how this school has the worst people ever. Miss Tang pats him on the back and tells him it was a good try. Thanks, Miss Tang. Bai Mu goes next. The crystal ball glows super brightly with 2 halos around it. He gets an S grade higher than the usual A, noticing Ningsu in the audience. He also asks to perform the magic release. He successfully aligns all 7 of his stars and launches a line of creeping ice to freeze the target. He gets a good B grade for the magic release. His performance puts even more pressure on the next student, who just happens to be Fan Mo. The examiner and Mr. Mu share a cheeky smirk before he goes on stage and secretly places the dark stone under the crystal ball as planned. Fan gets on stage and places his hand on the ball. To his surprise, the ball releases the weakest orange light. He tries again and still fails. Mr. Mu uses this chance to tell Ningsui how incompetent he is, and how he has disgraced his family for not even managing to pass this exam. Ningsui remains silent as everyone else ridicules and makes fun of him. Fan doesn't stop trying, and eventually, the stone breaks after absorbing too much power. After that, the crystal ball brightens with 1 halo around it. The teacher gives him a B. Miss Tang, who was watching the whole time, suspects the crystal ball is faulty and appeals for a revaluation of Fan. The students support Miss Tang, thinking she must be saying that because she believes Fan Mo deserves a lower grade. The teacher begs Miss Tang to drop her claim because he doesn't want Fan to fail in a fair retest. But Ningsu steps in and also presses for a retest. Another crystal ball is brought in immediately. As soon as Fan touches it, the ball glows a blinding red with rays of light encircling his body. With the S grade, he asks to perform a magic release. Once the target is placed in front of him, Fan Mo expertly launches a big ball of fire, setting the target on fire and earning him a grade for the release. Recognizing his potential in Mr. Mu with a better hairstyle and higher standing than the usual, Mr. Mu calls him and invites him to be a part of the Mu family and offers him a Fire Star bracelet to better harness his powers. To everybody's shock, Fan Mo not only turns him down, but insults him and the family for belittling his father, treating him like a lapdog, and for breaking into their house to beat up him and his father, causing his father to receive a back injury that never healed. Mr. Mu tries to retaliate by using his ice powers, but the principal intervenes by pointing out no violence can take place within the school grounds. He asks Fan to apologize for disrespecting his elders, but Fan refuses. Mr. Mu threats to have him expelled, but the principal retorts that he won't be expelled while he holds his position. Bai Mu challenges him to a duel to set things straight. Mr. Mu doubles down on the idea and declares the duel will be fought between Fan Mo and Ang Yu, his adopted son who is even stronger than Bai. Fan agrees and decides that if he loses, he will apologize to the Mu family, but if he wins, the Mu family has to apologize to his father. According to the mage laws, duels are forbidden between underage mages, so they set up a date 2 years later to settle the fight once and for all. Mingxi smiles at Fan Mo before leaving with the rest. The next semester begins with Fan Mo at the top of the elite class. The teacher explained that there are 3-star bracelets which will be given to the top 3 students in the class for 1 month. However, as punishment for insulting the Mu family, Fan will only have the bracelet for 10 days, after which it will be passed to the 4th student. Since the bracelets are limited and highly valuable, a student returning them late or damaging them will not only result in their expulsion, but also a ban from ever becoming a mage. Later that night, Fan stares at the bracelet while sitting alone in the dark. Every time he takes the bracelet out of his pocket, the mysterious pendant on his chain starts levitating. He puts the bracelet on when the pendant lifts up, unwinds, and the mouth of the fish opens up to eat the bracelet whole. Fan Mo frantically tries to get the precious bracelet back when Miss Tang approaches him from the back and correctly guesses that he lost the bracelet. He explains what happened and shows her the pendant. Upon inspecting it, she realizes that it is a one-of-a-kind magic gear that feeds on other gears like the bracelet and spurts to increase its boosting power. This explains why he was able to unlock 2 elements and how he was able to progress much faster than his peers. She advises him to keep the pendant a secret from others and grow it by feeding it other gears. She assures him she will take care of the lost bracelet matter and disappears. A few days later, the class goes on a field trip to Snowy Peak Outpost, a 24/7 heavily guarded place beyond which many man-eating monsters live. Fan goes there with his pendant clearly visible above his plain white t-shirt. Smart. The instructor there assigned them on a bounty hunt assignment. To cut them some slack for their inexperience, the whole class will be given an A if at least 1 student completes it. However, if nobody completes the hunt, the whole class fails. The students decide they'd rather give up to avoid risking their life, but the instructor calls them out for their cowardice despite being part of the elite class in the best magic school. He says that the students that successfully hunt down a monster will be awarded with a magic armor, a piece of magic gear that costs thousands. Fan, determined to get stronger for the duel, sets his sights on killing the monster. The class splits into different teams to explore the wilderness beyond the outpost, using their powers to get rid of any obstacles. 2 teams, which includes Bai Mu and Fan Mo, reach the cave that the instructor had ordered them to find. Their job is to inspect the cave to check if there are any one-eyed wolf demons remaining there after they were wiped out by the outpost mages, and to look for a star bracelet that the instructor lost down there. While the others scout the large cave in groups, Fan gets fixated on the pond outside the cave. His friend asks him what he's thinking. Fan points out that the pond is only half full despite it having rained right before they had arrived to the outpost, and the water line is still visible, indicating that something huge must have drank half the water from the pond. The friend panics and rushes to tell the others. Of course, they don't believe him and Fan and tell him to stay behind if they are too scared to enter the cave. Literally 10 seconds after entering, they face a giant wolf, causing everyone to scream and run around. Bai Mu tries to use his powers, but fails to concentrate and almost gets bitten by the wolf. Another fire student tries to take it down, but Fan Mo carries her away before it pounces on her. While all the students are losing their mind, the instructors and teachers watch them from atop a cliff. In reality, the wolf isn't a one-eyed wolf demon, but is simply one of the instructor's much less fierce pet archwolf. It is simply a test to see if the students can use their magic in real dire situations. Just when the lead instructor believes none of the students are up to the mark, they see a flash of blue light come from the cave. Bai Mu successfully uses his level 1 creeping ice ability to lock the wolf in its place. After seeing Bai succeed, the same female student breaks out of Fan's hold and runs back to the cave to fight the wolf as well. All of her level 1 fire burst does is to melt the ice that Bai casts and set the wolf free completely unhurt. Another student with the Thunder Talent tries to save them, but it only stops the wolf for a couple of seconds. Realizing that level 1 magic has no effect on the wolf, Fan finally focuses and unlocks his level 2 fire ability, Cremation. It sets the wolf on fire, causing it to leap into the pond. The instructors and teachers are delighted to see a talented mage among the students, but the wonder realizes that he no longer has control over the archwolf. So far, the owner had it under his control so that it would not hurt the students. Now that it is completely free, they are under actual danger. The wolf first targets the girl, but Fan's brown-haired friend uses his wind powers to quickly take her away from the wolf's sight. Bai Mu tries to follow that with an attack, but the wolf jumps over him and tries to reach Fan. They all run deeper inside the cave while the wolf follows them. One of the classmates suggests they should run away while the small group fights the wolf so that their deaths aren't wasted. Thankfully, the others refuse to leave behind their friends. At this point, the lead instructor charges into the scene with angel-like wings and asks where the wolf is. Fan and his friend flee from the wolf with the help of his wind powers, but the wolf ends up hurting the friend when he tries to protect Fan from an attack. Angered after seeing his friend get hurt, he faces the wolf head-on, this time with his Thunder Talent. The wolf slows down after being electrocuted when Fan notices a giant spike hanging over the wolf. He uses his level 2 fire powers to make the spike fall and pierce right through the wolf's body. Once the wolf collapses on the ground, a small white orb comes out of the wolf and gets absorbed by his pendant. He doesn't waste much time thinking about it and rushes to his unconscious friend's aid. The lead instructor catches up to them and is shocked to see the wolf dead. Fan explains that he used his fire powers to make the spike kill it, but the instructor is still skeptical over how the archwolf failed to dodge it with its razor-quick reflexes. Fan waves off his wonder by requesting help for his injured friend. Fan and the instructor start moving towards the exit, with the friend on the instructor's back. They run into the rest of class and teachers who came looking for them midway. They ask where the wolf is to find out that it is dead. Everybody assumes the instructor had killed it, and the owner demands to know why he killed it even though it wasn't a real threat to the experienced instructor. He explains that it wasn't him but Fan Mo that had killed it before he found him in the cave. Everybody finds it hard to believe how a mere student can fight a monster to death, with some still suspecting the instructor had ended its life. The owner runs to his pet's corpse and starts crying while hugging it tightly. The wolf didn't deserve to die for this school test. Nevertheless, this is the event that makes all of its classmates recognize Fan Mo's strength. They finally praise him for his abilities and thank him for saving their lives. Miss Tang points out how if the wolf wasn't under control in the beginning, those who weren't able to use magic to protect themselves would have died. In real life, monsters are merciless beasts that kill indiscriminately, and they must learn to face their fear and fight them. The lead instructor announces that the students who manage to use magic against the wolf get special recognition for their courage, and the whole class gets an A for passing the test. Fan Mo gets an S grade and a magic armor for being the one to kill the wolf. During the award ceremony, the head even invites Fan to join their institution in the future for a comfortable life. However, his mind has been busy figuring out how Fan actually managed to kill the wolf. He remembers noticing how the ground was scorched around and below the wolf's body and how the wolf's face had strange black marks. His thoughts are interrupted by a guard who alerts him of bone wolf demon spottings in the west of their territory. He quickly gets into action and orders all the guards to find and kill the monsters. 2 months after the field trip, Fan Mu continues practicing his magic. After the wolf attack, he realized level 1 magic has no effect on monsters, and that he needs to work on powering up. He had been spending all of his time practicing his fire talent so far to show his abilities to others, but he also needs to improve his fire talent to get it up to level 2 at least. If it hadn't been for the giant spike, him and his friend would have died in the cave. According to Miss Tang, his pendant accelerates his progress by absorbing other gear, spirits, and monsters. If he is able to absorb more, he can upgrade his pendant to a spirit gear level, which can give him a 40% boost compared to the current 20%. So he decides to become a bounty hunter to earn money to feed his pendant and gain combat experience. The next day, he walks into the bounty hunter's hall with a black mask on to cover his face. The bounty hunter's hall is where the latest bounties with their money prize are listed for bounty hunters to pick from. There, he overhears a man give advice to a young mage about what gigs to take. He approaches him to ask him if the monster hunter group is recruiting, to which the man points to a long line of applicants. The man advises him to save his time and look for simpler jobs, as the monster hunters are highly selective and only seasoned mages get in. Fan still wishes to join because the monster hunters fight monsters in the city, and remaining in the city would be most convenient in order to attend his classes as well. The man says that if he has the fire talent, it'll be much easier to get in. He asks if it would be easy with thunder, and the man laughs, thinking he's joking. Since thunder is so rare of an ability, even a newbie can get into any group. With this information, Fan gets in line to apply for the opening at Monster Hunter. Everyone before him gets rejected, causing the captain to get frustrated over the inexperienced applicants who underestimate the skills required to be a part of the group. For Fan Mo's turn, the junior employees ask him about his qualifications and almost turn Hai away for not even being a certified hunter. However, he demonstrates his thunder talent to them, causing them and everyone in line to gape at the sight of an element they've never seen before. The captain bursts through the door and welcomes him into the Monster Hunter group, ignoring his inexperience, and dismisses all the other interviewees. He starts introducing Fan to the main members, starting with the deputy, an ice mage named Tang Kai. Fan recognizes her as one of Ningshu's cousin and hopes that she doesn't recognize him. The rest of the introductions are interrupted by intel that a girl's junior high school is under attack by demons and that one student is missing. The captain asks Fan to go back home, but he asks to join them on their mission, to which the captain agrees. On their way, he keeps trying to call his sister because she's a student at the school under attack. He worries that his sister could be the one missing. Once they arrive, the captain delegates different duties to the members and instructs Fan to inspect the canteen. At the canteen, Fan gets jump-scared by his phone's ringtone. He answers it to hear his sister's voice. She explains that she forgot to take her phone during the emergency evacuation and is using a payphone to contact him. She says that although she is safe, she had sensed something lurking in the dorm. While evacuating, she spotted a girl walking in the opposite direction towards the canteen and is worried about her. He reassures her that he will look for her and ends the call. Right after hanging up, he makes eye contact with a huge one-eyed blue blob of a monster. It shoots a beam of explosive light toward him, but he is able to duck and dodge it, causing the window behind him to break and the surroundings to catch fire. This alerts the other members, and they quickly arrive at the scene. The water mage blocks another beam of light that would hit Fan with a wall of water. They tell Fan Mo to retreat so that the experts can take care of it. They expertly maneuver around the monster's beams. while the captain uses his fire abilities to control the fire in the area to follow the demon. It gets roasted alive once his level 3 firestorm hits it in one strike. They relax once they think the threat has been taken care of, but the demon somehow survived the attack and opens its eye. It pounces at the off-guard ice mage Tang. The captain orders the water mage to block it, but it simply passes through her shield and makes a gash on her clothes. Fan is the one to react quickly enough to take it down before it causes further damage by casting his Thunder Circuit power. The captain yells at the water mage for failing to stop the demon. He doesn't want to hear her apology because an apology in their group means someone's life could have been taken. He praises Fan for his amazing reflexes and promotes him as a full-time member for his good work. Later, Fan notices the rat demon's spirit as a yellow orb float out of his body and get absorbed in his pendant, like the wolf's had, but realizes that nobody can else-see it. The monster hunter's mission is not over yet. They still haven't found the missing girl yet. Some of the members only spotted a tunnel in the kitchen filled with the demon's footprints. They deduce there are more than just the one Cyclops rat demon they faced, an operation the scale of which will need to be handled by the Association of Magic Societies. After having alerted them, the monster hunters leave the school. On their way back, one of the members who found Fan's phone on the canteen's floor points out that he has many missed calls from the insane number. Fan returns home to find his sister by a payphone. She is so relieved to see him safe that she tries to get off her wheelchair. He comes to her and hugs her, reassuring her that her brother can now take care of monsters and has gotten rid of the one in her school with help of his team. He recounts the story lightheartedly to make her feel comfortable and tells her that her highest priority should be to protect herself for his sake. Meanwhile, at the giant new residence, Ang Yu, Fan's future duel opponent, has been leveling up quicker than his peers. He has already reached level 2 of his ice talent and should reach level 3 within a year, with which he will have the ability to freeze a huge area around him. Despite this, Ang is still dissatisfied with his progress because Ningsui is ahead of him. Mr. Mu tells him he should only be concerned with defeating Fan at the duel, an accomplishment which will earn him rewards from the master. He then goes to the cooler Mr. Mu and asks him why he has to duel Fan Mo, since he is an unworthy opponent. Mr. Mu agrees with his sentiment, but says he had no choice because it is what the principal and master wanted. As a bonus, he believes that winning the duel will be the first step towards Aang controlling the city. That's not all. As another bonus, the Sacred Spring is at stake. The Sacred Spring is a place where only one person is chosen to train in each year, and all schools and big families hope to score the position. Demonstrating his overwhelming powers in the duel will make him a candidate for the spring. At the same time, the other Mr. Mu and Bai meet at a garden to scheme as well. Bai notes that the master seems to favor Aang a lot and asks if he could be the next leader. Mr. Mu says that Ningxu is the only true heir to the Mu family, and that the master is only using Aang like a dog so that Ningxu can use him as a stepping stone to her position at the top. Over at the Monster Hunter's headquarters, Fan gets his first fat paycheck. As a full-time member, he is excited to get a hefty amount for each mission as well as bonuses. This will let him feed his pendant quickly and level up even quicker. Due to his new gig, he doesn't attend school as much. One day, when he gets the time to show up to class, Min Jiao, the girl he saved from the wolf, approaches him. She asks him if he'd be willing to go out with her. He assumes she's fallen for him and agrees. He expects to go to a movie or a restaurant on their first date, but the address she gives him leads him to an empty alley. When she arrives, she starts talking about regular tremors occurring in the area. Confused, he asks her why she asked him out. She clarifies that her grandmother's lives in a building nearby and that she has been experiencing frequent tremors at night. Worried that something might be wrong, she thought to ask him for help to investigate the area for monsters. He agrees to help and feels pretty confident about handling the issue since he's already taken care of 7 to 8 monsters on the job now. He takes a small bag out and opens it to spill revealing powder, a magical powder that reveals traces left behind by monsters. He investigates the newly emerged footprints and deduces it must be hiding in plain sight. At that instant, a giant one-eyed wolf emerges from the ground with a snack in his mouth. They watch it feed on a dead human, somebody who must have been homeless. They must have been lurking in the city for a while, hunting on the homeless because they are less likely to be detected missing by the police. This wolf is twice as big as the one they had faced on the field trip. Min is terrified and begs Fan to leave the place. He asks her to run away on her own, evacuate the block, and alert the police. However, Min says she isn't waiting and has the police on dial. The wolf immediately tracks the sound of the dial and chases them. Like last time, Fan carries her away from it and sets the path behind him ablaze with his level 2 cremation ability to buy them some time. The wolf is super strong though and keeps following them without seeming to care about the fire. He tells her to leave again and let him deal with the wolf. She refuses to leave him since there's no way students like them can face this demon alone. Still, he pushes her away and practically forces her to flee from the area. Now alone with the wolf, he pulls out the magic armor he was awarded to build a force field of thunder, but instead gets pushed back. Next, he tries to use his fire powers but is interrupted by the timely arrival of Tang Kai, the ice mage, who happened to be in the area when Min was alerting the civilians to evacuate. She casts a strong ice spell to freeze the demon's legs in place. Without his black mask, she recognizes the boy on the ground as Mo Fan, the one who disgraced the Mu family, and sternly tells him to leave. She contacts the captain to tell him that the wolf is probably a one-eyed wolf that has become mutated by absorbing the power leaked from the Sacred Spring. She requests Fan Mo, the masked monster hunter member with the same name as the Mu family's enemy, to arrive at the scene and sedate the demon with his thunder abilities. Surely the matching names are a coincidence, not suspicious at all. Fan rushes in last, with all the members already there waiting for him. They had built a dome of ice around the wolf by the time of his arrival. He uses his level 1 thunder power to sedate it. The Capitan decides the best course of action is to wait until members from the Magical Societies associations show up to handle the situation, since using his fire powers may simply melt the ice dome and let the wolf loose in the city. The wolf eventually breaks out of the dome and starts evolving into a thorn-faced wolf, with spines growing out of its back. If it transforms completely, it will become way past the Monster Hunters Leagues. The captain commands his members to kill the wolf immediately before it fully evolves and wreaks havoc on the city. Despite all their attempts to slow it down, it still keeps evolving and melting the ice around it. The captain decides to rip the band-aid and uses his fire burst and firestorm spells to go on the offense full throttle. It doesn't have much effect except melt all the ice and set the monster free. He pounces at the hunters, but the water mage conjures a sturdy wall of water to block it, but it merely slows it down for a few seconds. The captain follows up by using his level 2 cremation power, while the earth mage makes pillars of rock appear in front of the wolf. The wolf runs right through them like they're made out of Play-Doh. Another wall of water appears in front of the captain to protect him, but the wolf penetrates it, causing the captain to get assaulted with a wave of water. Ice doesn't have any effect on it either, and the wolf deflects the ice shields they conjure with its tough spines. One of the shards hit the captain, dealing severe damage to his arm. Fane uses his level 2 thunder ability to cast a thunderstorm. Being particularly vulnerable to thunder, this is the first move that slightly hinders the wolf. It struggles to move past the thunderstorm, while its evolution also slows down. While Fan keeps it at bay, 2 hunters carry the captain to a safer distance. The party, knowing they have no chance of beating this monster, considers retreating, while Fan holds it back as long as he can. Infuriated at the suggestion, the captain reminds them of their duties as monster hunters. If they hold their ground, at least they can keep the wolf in control until help comes, even if they lose their lives doing it. However, if they flee, thousands of innocent civilians will die. Despite his grave injuries, he stands up straight and helps Fan with his fire magic. Right at that moment, a flood of water appears out of nowhere and submerges the wolf. The mages are shocked to witness a mid-level water-powered tsunami in front of them. That well-dressed, long-haired man approaches Fan from the back and tells the monster hunters to stand back as he takes care of the beast. It then sprints towards the weakened wolf and summons the mid-level tornado skill. A tornado appears, sucks the wolf into its spinning vortex, takes it to a great height, and drops it to its death. The spirit of the dead thorn-faced wolf gets absorbed by Fan's pendant. Turns out the man is Mr. Yang, an experienced and powerful member of the Association of Magical Societies. He and the hunters discuss if they should sound the city alarm due to the recent high-volume emergence of monsters in the city. Mr. Yang thinks the alarm would only cause panic among the people and recommends increasing manpower for city patrol for the time being. After the mission, Fan tries to figure out what's up with his pendant. It has become heavier and bigger since it absorbed the wolf's spirit. While looking at it, the pendant starts glowing a bright blue. He guesses this must mean that it has leveled up to spirit level. With this new level, he will be able to progress even faster and might even reach level 3 in both his fire and thunder talents by the time of the duel. All things seem to be going well for him. The next time he meets his sister, he gives her some of the money he's earned as a hunter to buy a phone to replace the one she lost on the day of the school monster attack. She shares that she's awakened the healing talent, a type of white magic. Usually, beginners can only awaken elemental magic like fire, thunder, water, etc., but her teacher said there are some exceptions. She says that she knows whatever he's doing to earn money is dangerous and offers to help him with her magic if he ever needs it. The next day, Fan goes to the principal's office to discuss the upcoming duel. It will take place on the day of Aang's coming-of-age ceremony, and the new family is making it a huge deal by inviting all the celebrities and big names to the ceremony. The intention is clear. They intend to make the duel the event's highlight and showcase Aang's abilities. The principal points out that this is only one of their motives. They also wish to secure Aang's place in the Sacred Spring that year. The school wishes to send their top student, Fan, to train there, since only a single mage is allowed to train there each year. Fan will have to defeat Aang to prove his worth for access to the spring. Even though they believe Aang has the upper hand in terms of magical and training resources, they ask Fan to give his best try at the duel to earn the school some recognition. He realizes that even his own school doesn't have much faith he will win. Still, he stays determined to win, restore his family's honor, and enter the Sacred Spring to become a mid-level mage. The day of the coming-of-age ceremony is fast approaching. Master Mu tells Ningsu how he has put so much effort into Aang's development so that he can ultimately become Ningsu's loyal assistant. She is destined to control even more than just this city. She asks him if the duel must take place publicly, to which the master replies that Fan has caused extreme shame to the Mu family and must be shamed publicly as well. She excuses herself and leaves the room. She approaches Fan sitting alone in a spot overlooking the Mu mansion, from where he can see the stage of the duel that will take place the next day. She advises him to skip the duel and run away from the city because Aang will show no mercy. Fan turns down the idea, explaining that her father is a bully who would relish in backing down. He wishes to honor his own father, who has worked all these years to raise him and his sister without their mother, who abandoned them shortly after Xingqi's birth. He never complained, even after being beaten up and shamed by the Mew family for his son's mistake. He wants to prove to his dad that all he gave up for him to become a mage wasn't a waste, while also proving to the world that his dad isn't a fool. The ceremony day finally arrives. Tang graciously greets the monster hunters at the mansion, but immediately changes her tone when Fan arrives unmasked. The other hunters miss their teammate Mo Fan, who said he couldn't come that day. When they see Fan's back while walking inside, they feel like they recognize him from somewhere. Tang explains that they had seen him briefly when arriving at the Wolf Demon's scene, before she had ordered him to leave. They find more similarities between Fan and Mo Fan, but Tang assures them that their Mo Fan is 10 times more talented. Fan's classmates meet him while he gobbles up food before the duel. They come to show him support, but he seems carefree enough on his own. His dad was also invited to see the duel. Master Mu takes to the stage to raise a toast to Aang and his future in leading the city. Amidst the cheering, he announces the duel to the guests. Everybody gathers at the arena to spectate the much-awaited duel. Aang confidently strides toward Fan, armed with at least 3 kinds of magic gear. The two firmly shake hands, Aang casting a spell to freeze their hands while Fan counters it with a fire spell to melt it. Then they take up opposite positions in the arena, facing each other. Master Mu signals the duel to commence. Aang goes on the offense first by sending a sheet of ice using level 2 magic, which Fan promptly melts with Fire Burst. Fan retaliates with multiple level 2 cremation fireballs, which Aang dodges with swift speed thanks to the magical earth element shoes he has equipped. Aang surprises the crowd by unleashing the level 3 ability, Creeping Ice Storm, to rapidly freeze the whole arena ground. The Ice Storm is capable of freezing a one-eyed wolf to death in a matter of minutes. This seems to be a quick end to the duel, but Fan persists with a wall of fire to protect him from the cold. It is, however, snuffed out eventually. The principal insists on ending the duel at that point as the Ice Storm may kill Fan, but Master Mu prolongs it by saying the Fire Mage should be able to withstand for longer. Fan tries to unlock his level 3 firepower for the first time, but the sub-zero temperature makes it hard to concentrate, and he has always failed at focusing the 5th star into orbit. However, the desperation of saving his life allows him to align all 7 stars. He casts a powerful level 3 Ignite spell, successfully keeping the ice at bay. He then launches attacks on Aang, who dodges them with his shoes. Fan decides to use a different weapon and unleashes his newly obtained level 3 Firestorm attack. The large-scale offensive spell hits Aang, causing him to hit the ground and injure his legs. The audience is in awe to see a beginner from a poor family take Aang down. Aang is not done though. He gets up and removes his scorched cloak to reveal magic armor underneath. The head instructor from the Snowy Peak outpost, who was watching the duel, gets up from his seat and announces Fan to stop fighting. The magic armor is fireproof, and the audience has already recognized his great abilities. Aang scoffs and eggs Fan on, saying he should surrender because his poor father can't afford anything to make him win. Not wanting to hear yet another insult being thrown at his father, Fan refuses to surrender. He finally pulls out his trump card, his Thunder Talent. Everybody, including Aang, is beyond shocked to find out that he has not one but 2 of the strongest elements at level 3. He unleashes a mighty Thunder Dragon that penetrates Aang's armor and shatters it to bits, ending the duel once and for all. The amazed audience cheers for Fan's victory while the Mew family bang their heads against the wall. Fan, the hero, was finally able to make his hardworking dad proud and proves to the world that he and his family are worthy of recognition and respect.